Good evening, Bahamas. On the broadcast tonight, a shooting here in the capital leaves one man dead and another in hospital. Plus, we'll tell you why you may be experiencing hazy skies over parts of the Bahamas. And find out how Team Bahamas performed on day 2 of the IAAF World Track and Field Championships.
News is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news, the weekend edition, and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Knowles. Police continuing investigations tonight into a double shooting that has left one man dead and another in hospital. This time, the fatal shooting occurring at Lily of the Valley corner off East Street. A bullet-riddled car, shattered glass on the ground, and a crowd of onlookers, all at the scene of a double shooting here in the capital this afternoon. It was around 2:45 Saturday afternoon when officers were called to Lily of the Valley corner off East Street and met a crowd standing around this vehicle. When officers examined the scene, they met two victims in the car, one shot dead with his foot hanging out the door, while the other also wounded but still alive.
The only information we're working with thus far is that shortly around that time, both the deceased and the victim pulled up here to Lynn Valley Corner when they were approached by two individuals in a charcoal gray color Honda vehicle. Both rolled their windshields down, produced firearms, and shot into the vehicle which is parked alongside the street there, subsequently hitting both victims.
Chief Superintendent Solomon Cash confirming that the deceased was shot multiple times to the upper body. He also said he was being electronically monitored and was recently released from prison for a serious offense. The deceased joins a growing list of victims murdered while out on bail.
We can tell you that we have similar instances as this. The record's been playing, person released. They don't want to abide by their conditions. And so sometimes the stand results. But you know, from the police perspective, that does not bar us from doing our duties, which is to prevention, detection of crime, to arrest these offenders who continue to commit crime. We will continue to do that.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean was also on the scene this afternoon and is confident that officers will be able to bring this case to a swift close. And with this being the beginning of a long holiday weekend, Assistant Commissioner Dean used the opportunity to reassure Bahamians that this incident won't mark the trend throughout the weekend, as police will be out in full force.
You know that we have a number of things going on. We have beach picnics on our Key, our Montague, and then we have the major festival in Fox Hill, which is being heavily policed. We want to reassure members of the public that they can go to the Fox Hill Festival. They can have a good time there. The police will be out in full force. But we will continue to seek after these persons here.
And while Dean says police are making some significant inroads in the fight against crime, they can't do it alone.
You need to support your police officers, because this is all who you have right here now, to make sure we are the guardians of our communities. But we have to work in partnership. But we have to re-emphasize the plea that the acting commissioner put out to parents to please talk to your sons, fathers talk to your sons, mothers talk to your sons and daughters, and family members. Tell them that this is not the way that they should go. If they continue to go on that conveyor belt of crime, it's only one ending. It's either death or in prison.
Meantime, police seizing over 1,300 rounds of ammunition from a home located on St. Bart's Road, Golden Gates. A team of officers from the Selective Enforcement and K-9 units executed a search warrant on the home yesterday evening, where they discovered a large bag containing 1,398 rounds of ammunition. Police took an adult male resident into custody in connection with the discovery. Skipping over to Grand Bahama, police are continuing investigations into a traffic fatality that claimed the life of a man yesterday. The accident reportedly occurred around 4 p.m. on Settlers Way, involving a 1999 Toyota Ram driven by a 26-year-old man with a 7-year-old female passenger. The vehicle crashed into a utility pole and sustained extensive front damages. EMS personnel were called to the scene and transported the male passenger to the Rand Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. As for the female passenger, police say she was seen by EMS on the scene and released to family members. Meantime, DEU officers on Grand Bahama making 2 significant drug finds on the island. In the first incident, officers uncovered 50 pounds of suspected marijuana with an estimated street value of $50,000 at a residence on Ponce de Leon Drive. A 35-year-old female was taken into custody in connection to the discovery. In the second instance, police, while on patrol in McLeanstown, discovered in bushes a number of crocus-type bags, all containing suspected marijuana and a tar-looking substance suspected to be hash oil. The estimated amount of suspected marijuana is 310 pounds with an estimated street value of $310,000, while the estimated weight of the hash oil is 56 pounds with an estimated street value of $280,000. Police have made no arrests in this matter. In other news this evening, if you've noticed unusually white skies and clouds that appear to be blending in with the skies, it's because the Bahamas is experiencing a phenomenon known as Saharan dust haze. Our Christina McNeil spoke with forecasters at the Department of Meteorology to get the details.
It's by no means a new occurrence. Dust from the Sahara Desert traveling across the Atlantic to settle in the Western Hemisphere. But it remains a fascinating phenomenon.
The Sahara is the world's largest desert. At more than 3 million square miles, it's almost the size of the continental United States. Each year, Saharan dust is lifted from the ground and transported by winds on a 3,000-mile journey across the Atlantic Ocean.
According to NASA, an estimated 182 million tons of dust leaves Africa per year. And this year, the Bahamas happens to be experiencing a dose of it. Forecaster Wayne Neely explains just what it is.
It's called dust haze, and basically it comes from the desert of Saharan Africa. And what happens, the upper level winds, what we call easterly waves, bring it to the Atlantic and into the Caribbean. Typically, it normally occurs in the Eastern Caribbean, more prevalent than in the Bahamas, but this week has been a heavy dose of dust haze over the Bahamas, and it should last probably for the next few days.
Neely says the dust haze is usually experienced around this time of year and is more visible in the Lesser Antilles.
In the Bahamas, because it's so far to the west, we don't normally get it as prevalent as in those Eastern Caribbean countries like Barbados and those. I know when I went to school in Barbados, that was an everyday thing. You can clearly see the dust haze in the atmosphere.
While it may produce beautiful sunrises and sunsets for a brief time, Neely warns that the fine dust can actually cause health complications for those with respiratory problems.
It's extremely fine dust, so if you have respiratory problems, we do advise you to stay indoors and stay in air conditioning rather than to go on the outside where you'd be exposed to dust haze.
Reporting for our news, I'm Christina McNeil.
Thanks, Christina. And we'll take a break here, but still ahead tonight. Former UBP leader Sir Jeffrey Johnstone has died. Plus, the health minister talks about repairs to the Rand Memorial Hospital. Those stories and more when our news returns.